7 years ago, we floated an idea with Pocahontas State Park management at the time to give volunteers a campsite in exchange for a week or two of work in the park. The next year, in 2018, this took the form of the first Cabin Work Week. While that first year was 1 week long and focused on 3 outbuildings on the Swift Creek camp, it was so successful that a second year became almost inevitable. That second year, in 2019, we expanded the project to 2 weeks and shifted the focus to each of the original group campsites that were still standing, starting with Appomattox in the Algonquin area. The third year was 2020, and despite the pandemic restrictions, we successfully tackled another site in the Algonquin camp, Chickahominy. Over the following 3 years, we succeeded in addressing the stabilization of the remaining 4 sites, Wayanock, Paspahegh in the Algonquin camp, and Second and Third Branch in the Swift Creek camp. To keep the project going, we attracted funding from not only the Friends of Pocahontas, but received startup funding from Preservation Virginia. Then the Garden Club of Virginia sponsored several years, along with several private individuals. However, in 2021, the funding stepped up a notch with the receipt of the Lowe's 100 Hometowns grant, followed by some more significant funding by DCR. So, having completed the circuit of the 6 sites in 2023, the project changed shape this year. In 2024, we made our first return visit to the original sites to see how they had held up, what we had missed, especially in our earliest years, and what we could accomplish with a slightly scaled-back project team. It meant our teams were more spread out. At one point, for example, roofers were working in Third Branch, while the shutter team was building new shutters in Wayanock. The screening team was pulling out screens in Paspahegh, while the siding team replaced sills in Appomattox. Painters were staining decks in Chickahominy, and another siding team was working on the park office, all in a day's work in this new style Cabin Work Week. And we managed to do a lot of work despite the challenging logistics and smaller crew. camaraderie.
In cabin 1, and boy oh boy, we did have fun. Repair the screens. I think there are 9. Eventually, we were in assembly line. Dragging the compressor to cabin 3, only 1 screen to set us free. 3 screens for us in cabin 4. Next thing you knew, we'd be on tour. The sun was setting at 4:20. We're serious, we're not trying to be funny. The final window was stapled and tacked at 4:55, as a matter of fact. The end of the list was in our hand, and the tasks were complete, as Kathy D had planned.
Our project has always had it as its goal to extend the life of the cabins, but when we can return one to useful service for the park, that is even better. We achieved that last year with our work on Second Branch, and this year the former nurses' cabin that is adjacent to the Powhatan Dining Hall will soon be available as a bridal cabin, where bridal parties can dress for weddings taking place in the hall. We did work on this cabin in almost every year since 2019. This year, we were able to take a tour of the nearly completed cabin, which was a real treat. The project brings together locals and volunteers from many miles away. Some come for the challenge of the work. Some come to see a new place or be part of an interesting team, or to give back so tomorrow's youth will have a joyful time in the outdoors for many more years to come. For whatever the reason, this unique team of volunteers continues to make a difference and carry on a legacy begun by the men of the CCC almost 90 years